Hi, this is Stacia, and I wanted to share an instructive blitz game that I played today. This was 3-2 on chess.com, and it's a fairly short game, so it's going to be part of my miniature series. Also, another reason is that recently Grandmaster Pal Benko passed away, and yeah, he was just an amazing man, an amazing chess player. And so this game does feature a Benko Gambit declined. So we'll go ahead and do this in his honor. So the game started with d4, and I play knight f6 against this. My opponent played c4. I played c5, which is the Benoni, attacking the d pawn. White advanced it, creating a strong pawn on d5. And now I played the main move, b5, and this is the starting position of the Benko Gambit. Now here, white should probably take the pawn, and then after a6, take that pawn as well, and that would be the Benko Gambit fully accepted. There's also tricky lines where white takes once, and we play a6, and now white has a lot of options. I do have an entire opening series on the Benko Gambit, by the way, if you're interested in learning more about this opening, where I go through the main lines. But in this game, we saw a strange move, and it's the move b3. It's a very logical move, though. It's just not theoretical. So it's best to take for sure. But here, white is aiming to defend the c-pawn with a pawn. The problem is that it opens up issues along this diagonal. So that's basically what's going on here. And I have a move I play against this, and that's queen a5 check. Now, I've been told that, actually, Bartholomew told me that he didn't like this move. But I play it because the computer showed it to me, and there's a lot of tricks involved that I'm more familiar with than most of my opponents. So I'm going to keep this move in my repertoire for now. My opponent played bishop d2, very natural, attacking the queen, and now I went b4. So advancing on the queen side. And what I really like about this variation is now I've locked down the c3 square. And it's kind of interesting because a bishop will appear on g7, hitting the c3 square. My knight often jumps to e4 or d5, and it gets into the c3 square. And on top of that, my queen is extraing the king through this square as well. So there's tricks. Let me just say that. So my opponent played f3, kind of a slow move. I don't recommend this move. Yeah, and I'm just showing how the knight can't really move right now. The knight can come here for now to the a3 square, so that might be a move, but well, no, that's not even true because my queen would simply take it. So, okay. After f3, it's clear that white wants to play e4. I played g6. I want my bishop on this beautiful diagonal, and now e4 was played. And surprisingly, e4 is a blunder. So if you'd like to pause your video for a moment, there's a winning move for black in this position. And despite being fairly familiar with the tricks in these lines, I missed this during the game. So, okay. And if you found the move bishop g7, then give yourself a pat on the back. The point of this move is that actually the rook is completely trapped and can't move. White's best try here is a4, but now we can win a pawn with like probably the move, let's see, knight takes e4. Because after we take, well, actually it's more than a pawn, isn't it? We can just take the rook. But after this move, I actually thought maybe white could play rook a2 here. But yeah, this is more than a pawn because now the tricks I was alluding to do come into play. And after something like let's say bishop takes, I can take with a bishop, and no, actually better is take with a pawn. Yeah, because if we take with a pawn now, we're threatening c2 check, and I don't see a good way to blockade other than rook c2. But this is very awkward, and I think we can just castle here and claim that we have a strong pawn on c3, supported by the bishop, and this is a good position for black, a very good position. So, okay, very interesting. So in the game I played d6 though, and because I was worried about e5. Let's go ahead and look at that as well. So I didn't play bishop g7 because I thought e5 was a threat, attacking my knight, and now notice that the pawn blocks the diagonal. But again, the issue is that the rook cannot move. It cannot move, and you cannot block on c3 because this is well defended by my pawn. So in fact, we can actually take on d5, and like if takes, we take here on e5, and whoops, the rook is actually trapped. So again, no knight, no bishop. This wins material for black. So pretty interesting. Yeah, the best move is interesting too, knight a3, but we could just simply take this. I think this would be totally fine, and then maybe rook c1. And this is a winning game for black. So okay, lots of tricks right out of the opening. And but after d6, my tricks aren't working anymore. Although I would say that black's probably roughly equal here. Okay, so my opponent now spotted the trouble with the rook and played a4. And now I played bishop g7, and now rook a2. Yeah, and I will criticize the move a4 briefly because I actually think a3 is slightly more accurate. The reason being, if the pawn's on a3, now if we play the same line, the difference is that white can play the move queen c2. Let's see, what am I doing here? Castles, queen c2. And here, now the queen is defending the rook. So this move is going to happen. And that will open up a discovery on my queen. And so this is pretty annoying for me. I have to move my queen again in the opening. And white can, in fact, take on b4 and get some play on the queen side. So for that reason, I like a3 better than a4 for white, but still interesting. Okay, but let's look. Rook a2, castles, queen c1. I would call this move an inaccuracy. I think, white is not developed on the king side whatsoever. Even the knight on the queen side is undeveloped, and the rook is awkwardly placed. So I would say white really needs to concentrate on development here. So I don't like this move, queen to c1, for that reason, although the idea is clear, to trade off the dark square bishop. So computer says who cares, play e6 and let white trade because they're undeveloped. e6 also, notice that it sort of opens up the game some. So it makes a lot of sense. But I played rook e8 and I said, hey, I want to keep my bishop. So okay, bishop h6, and now I took my bishop away with king h8. Again, the computer says that maybe, wow, actually I'm surprised by this. Computer says take the bishop. And maybe it's beneficial to draw the queen out here without any help whatsoever. And now I can play e6. Yeah, break open the position. And I think you're going to do something like this. Yeah, and the problem is that black is almost completed development now, and white's going to have problems due to that. Okay, but I play bishop h8 in the game. Bishop d3, queen d8. Yeah, this is normal in this line, which I kind of invented this line with the computer's help, but I've played it so many times now that I know that retreating the queen to c7 or d8 is totally normal. If the tricks don't happen, then my queen simply has to move again, and I claim that the bishop's misplaced on d2, so I feel like the tempos wash out. But John Bartholomew said it was silly to put the queen on a5, really. So I'll just share that. But I'm a club player, so the tricks often work. Yeah, rook f2. Interesting move. I'm not sure about this move because I think that there can be tricks with queen h4. But okay. e6. So I know it looks strange to bust open the position when I have not developed my queenside, but this move actually facilitates my queenside development. So, like, if white were to take, my bishop will take. And after I clear the way, my light square bishop sometimes has scope here. But if not, depending on how this pans out, I have development schemes. So I want to get to one of the main points of the game, which we will soon. So knight bd7, looking to bring my knight to the e5 square. Knight here, knight e5, hitting the bishop, and the bishop retreats to bishop b1. Yeah, and here I thought this was really interesting. Computer calls my move bishop d7 a mistake and gives white advantage after castles. So this is pretty much a key moment that I wanted to zero in on because I didn't know what to do with my bishop necessarily. Yeah, and let's see. So in this position, the computer likes the move knight h5 by far. And this idea I missed, and I've missed this kind of idea before. I think the idea behind knight h5 is black is going to play f5. And the move f5 takes away this square for white. So right now, the knight or the bishop would like to use this square, probably the knight. But if we play f5, then that isn't possible anymore. And not only that, but we free up the f7 square for this knight to come and attack the bishop. So I really like this move, knight h5. And so, like, let's say white castles, just to take a look at how this might play out. We play f5. And yeah, it's kind of, I don't know, it's hard for me to, like, find a good move for white. Like, I might just retreat the bishop, I guess, but that's not a move you want to play necessarily. Computer gives g4. This looks almost like desperation to me, but I guess I don't really know. I would take, yeah, so white really wants this e4 square, I think is the point. Yeah, and they can take back here. Yeah, and maybe I just take with the bishop. That's a pretty nice move to make. So interesting ideas here. But instead I played bishop d7 and white answered with knight e4. So here you can see they got into that square because of that. Okay, I took the knight, they took with the bishop, and again f5 looks really natural, but I didn't play that in the game. I played queen h4. So this is a tempo because I'm attacking the bishop, and it also pins the rook. And I thought maybe a move like g3 might even lose the game for white. I don't know. Let's see. Yeah, because here I can actually take, check, king d2 here, and king takes c1. And when all is said and done, I have rook takes e4, and something very similar to this happens in the game. So after bishop g5, just retreating the bishop and attacking my queen, I did take the bishop here. So I'm happy to find a tactic like this in a blitz game, I must say, because I don't have a history of being a very tactical player. But yeah, here, and we fork. And I saw that I would win this pawn after this kind of like, I sacked my queen for a piece, so and I'm going to lose my piece as well. So without winning the e-pawn, I don't think this is necessarily a good idea. But since I do win the e-pawn, I think do they take this way? Let's see. In the game they go, oh, knight takes. Yeah, now I can take here. So I think I'm better here, and the computer agrees that I'm quite a bit better. And here my opponent made the losing move, which is rook e1. So looking to attack me, but they missed. Unfortunately, bishop c3 check, and this rook will be lost. So my opponent resigned. But I hope that you enjoyed this game. I thought it was a pretty interesting one, especially for a blitz game. And let's go ahead and look at the highlights. I'm going to turn off the engine so we can kind of flip through this. So it was a Benko Gambit. My opponent played b3, and I played queen a5 check. And this is a bit of home cooking. And f3. Too slow. And unfortunately, this plan of f3 e4 was so slow that black has a win right here with the move bishop g7. Yeah, and after bishop g7, computer likes a4, but now knight takes d5 is playable, and here I can just take. And this will win the game. So good trick to know that sometimes the rook is so trapped that we have time for bishop g7, then take a pawn, then take the rook. All thanks to the pawn controlling the c3 square. So, okay. But in the game, it went here, bishop g7, rook a2. Castles, queen c1. Again, too slow. White should be developing their pieces. Bishop h6. Yeah, and here I probably should just play e6 because I don't need my dark square bishop when I have such a lead in development. But okay, I saved it. And I actually do kind of like the play. There were a lot of ideas to attack this bishop during the game, so I don't mind this. Queen d8 is fine. Rook f2 is kind of strange, but maybe okay. e6 is definitely the right way to go. And yeah, and now I learned a new middle game plan to play f5 in the structure. So knight h5, f5, knight f7 is a plan that I missed. And here we take, again, f5. Tempo on the bishop now. So that's really sad I didn't see that. Yeah, I think I was like, National Master Michael Josen calls this okie doke when you play stuff that you're just hoping your opponent doesn't see, but probably it can be refuted. And queen h5 is kind of like that. I'm like hitting the bishop, and I'm planning this. I'm planning to take with the fork, you know. So I do get this. But this was a nice win. Yeah, and I got to play bishop c3 check at the end. So I will say that I've been really struggling with my chess lately. My rating's gone down quite a bit over the last few months. So playing this game today and sharing it with you is an effort to boost my confidence for a tournament that I play on Saturday. So that's in 2 days. Today is Thursday here at the time of recording. And it is the Ohio Chess Congress, which is the state of Ohio championship. And I will be playing the under 2000 section. So really looking forward to the tournament. And I am happy to say that I at least got my blitz rating back over 1500, which is pretty close to my peak. And due to games like this. So I'm feeling good about my chess, even with my lack of results these days. And so, yeah, wish me luck. And I'll definitely be sharing some catastrophic losses as well soon because I have lots of them. Okay, thanks so much for watching and have a great day. Bye.